In this video, I'm doing a beginner's class for fit and healthy people. And often in a beginner's class, we'd start with pelvic clock. So I'm just starting with rocking forward and back between 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And then that's taking me into a bridge. So in this video, I've only done 4 repetitions of each exercise, just for the sake of time. So we roll on up into a bridge by peeling our spine off the mat. Think of lifting one bone at a time, lengthening the tailbone towards the back of the knees, and pausing just at the top for a moment to take an inhale, and then roll on back down. Now we could add in the pelvic shifts here, but it doesn't look very good on the video, so I haven't added them in. Next, I'm going into some arm arcs. And so this will eventually help us prepare to do the hundreds. It's also a really nice breathing exercise. And then pick up one foot at a time and go into dead bugs. So here we're aiming to keep the torso still and stable while mobilizing the hip joint. Then we can increase the challenge by going into the femur arcs. So now there's a little bit more challenge to the abdominal muscles because we've got to keep our lower back lengthened on the mat. So exhale to dip your toe over, inhale to bring it back up. And then clasp the hands behind the back of the head, ready to go into chest lift. So we exhale to curl up. Again, aiming to keep the pelvis still and stable. If you think about the pelvic clock, we're balanced in between 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock. So you're in a neutral or an optimal spine. So we exhale to curl up. Inhale to reach towards the sky. Exhale, hands behind the thighs to lift a little higher. And then take the hands back behind the head to roll on down. So when you lift a little bit higher, there's going to be more challenge to your abdominal muscles, and that's preparing us to do the more advanced exercises. Now to go into the hundreds prep, we exhale to curl up, inhale to reach back down. So we're doing the arm arcs again, but we've got the legs lifted, so now the lower back will be lengthened on the mat. Stay up in that chest lift position, so you're just above the tips of the shoulder blades. We start to pump the arms while breathing in for 5 and out for 5. When you're ready to increase the challenge, reach the legs up towards the sky, still keeping the lower back lengthened on the mat. Now, as the legs start to lower down, it's really important to keep the lower back in the same space. So it might be lengthened right along the mat, or depending on the shape of your body, it might be just a little bit off the mat. So direct your eye gaze towards your toes, then bring the knees into the chest, and then let's do an assisted roll-up. So we often prep the roll-up exercise with an assisted roll-up. And even though it says assisted, it's not necessarily that easy for most people, but it's a nice way to get the shape of the spine ready to do the rolling for the roll-up. The roll-up and bridging are related exercises because they both have the principles of spine articulation. So they both have segmental movement of the spine. They're both really good exercises to get more mobility in the spine, so you get better posture. So we inhale to lengthen the spine, exhale to roll up, reach forward, imagine you're brushing sand off the toes, and then roll on down and reach overhead again. If you can't keep your legs straight, feel free to bend your knees at any time, or even take your hands behind your thighs just to help you lift up a little. Now I'm doing a seated prep for the single leg stretch. so that we know what the movement of the legs is. Roll on down just above the tips of the shoulder blades. Inhale as the legs come together. Exhale as you reach away, pulling with the arms, pushing with the legs. And then lower the leg down. Lower the head, neck and shoulders down. And then we go into leg circles. So in the leg circles, we're aiming to keep the hips as still and stable as we can while still getting a nice circle through the hip joint. If you notice that your hips are clicking, feel free to make it more of an oval shape, but make sure you emphasize that the leg goes across the body. Reach the other leg to the ceiling, go across, down, around and stop, across, down, around and stop. So imagine you have a pencil on your toe and you're drawing a circle on the ceiling, and then reverse the circles. And then we're ready to cross the ankles, roll on up, and change into the quadruped, ready for the next section of the class. The next part of this class has upper extremity weight bearing, spine extension or prone integration, side lying and seated exercises. So I'm going into the quadruped here. So this is a great exercise to lengthen throughout the spine, to get more mobility through the hips and the shoulder joints. Then I go into a plank to transition into the dart exercise. So we inhale and lift to the lowest rib. So we're focusing on the upper spine or the thoracic spine. So this is a great exercise to improve your posture. So we inhale, reach the arms long towards the heels. And then if you like, lift the feet as well. Lift the arms up and down. Great exercise to improve the tone in your triceps. Then I'm going into prone press up. So again, I'm still inhaling to the lowest rib, and this will take us into swan 1. So inhale to the lowest rib. Then as you go into swan 1, you exhale to press the floor away. Inhale at the top, exhale to lower back down. So this is a spine exercise or spine extension exercise that also has spine articulation. So we're peeling the front of the spine off the mat. I always like to go into swan 2 because it's a fun exercise to rock and roll forward and back. And then sit back on your heels, stretch out your back a little, and then come into a come into a plank position ready for single leg kick. So lower the top of the thighs down onto the mat, stretch out the toes, draw your body forward, and then kick yourself in the bottom 2 times, and then stretch out the leg. So we go kick, kick, and stretch, hover the leg just a moment. And then we turn into side lying, ready for the side kick series. So inhale to kick forward. Exhale to lengthen the leg back. Now, if you notice that your hips are starting to unstack or they're moving, just reduce the range of movement. Go into circles, great for mobilizing the hip joint, but also for getting really nice tone in your legs. So you have long, slim legs when you do this exercise. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower down. Again, think about keeping the hips stacked one on top of the other and reduce the range of movement if you have to. So draw the toe along the side seam or the inside seam of the trousers and then lengthen the leg down. Keep the développé going. Take one more and then roll onto your front, and we do a transition exercise, the heel beats. So this was traditionally a transition exercise with Joseph Pilates to go from side kick series to the other side. And again, inhale to kick forward, exhale to lengthen back. Keeping the hips stacked one on top of the other. Circle the leg around to mobilize the hip joint, and then reverse. And then lengthen the leg up and down, and then go into the développés again. Reverse the movement, inhale up, exhale to lengthen away. Come into a seated position, ready to do the spine stretch. So inhale to lengthen the spine, exhale to reach up and over, round the spine. And then stack the spine up, grow taller. Each time you reach forward, think of reaching the fingertips past the toes. Draw the belly button back towards the spine. So you're getting the reciprocal inhibition between the abdominals and the spine extensors. So this is a great way to get more length through the back of the body. Then we change into the spine twist. So now the hips are fixed and we're twisting through the rib cage. Inhale to grow taller, exhale to twist. And I've just changed my hand position. Give it a try, see if it feels any different. This is the last part of the class. So this is when you do all the fun exercises. So I'm going to start off with rolling like a ball. That's going to prepare us for rollovers and also from the seal. So rolling could be an inverted exercise. So we inhale to roll back, exhale, roll up, balance just behind the sitting bones. Roll back, trying not to hit your head on the floor. So you might notice that as you roll back, your head will gently touch the mat. But you obviously don't want to balance on your head or your neck. As you roll back, try and aim the sitting bones to the ceiling. And that's the same thing we'll be doing as we do the rollover. And then stretch out the legs, take a breath in, and then as you exhale, roll down and roll over. Aiming the sitting bones to the ceiling. My preference here is to roll down with my feet flexed. I think it feels like a really nice stretch through the back of the legs. So separate the feet, flex the feet and roll down. But of course, if you prefer to point your toes, you can. Circle the legs around only as far as you can without lifting your lower back off the mat. Roll down one bone at a time and then circle the legs around. Peel the spine off the mat, balancing in between the wide part in between your shoulders, keeping tension from the head and the neck. Cross your ankles, roll on up, balance behind the sitting bones, ready to do the seal. So we're going to thread our hands through our knees. Our knees are in a diamond shape. We roll back, take one clap, come on up, change it to 2 claps like you're a happy seal. And then the full exercise is 3 claps like a really, really happy seal. balancing behind your sitting bones as you clap, balancing towards the top of your shoulder blades or the spine of your shoulder blades. Cross your ankles, step into leg pull front. So leg pull front could be in the category of upper extremity weight bearing or full body integration. I'm putting it into full body integration here. So the next exercise would be a standing exercise. So we'd often do standing balance 1 and 2 after doing a roll up, but I can't fit it in my screen. So that's why I'm not showing standing balance 1 and 2.